Hi, I'm Sue Wildsmith and I wanted to talk to you today about weight. So many women are struggling in the sort of, I would say, over the age of sort of 40 to possibly 60 and beyond, are actually struggling with their weight. They'll find that at some point they will put on about 20 pounds. And at that point, it doesn't matter how little they eat, they just cannot get rid of the weight around their middles. And this really does get you down. And I got to that stage and I thought to myself, I was only eating lettuce and miserable little things. And it was at this point that I remember I was flying my hawk one day at the farm, and I thought to myself, I need to eat more fat, because that was one thing I wasn't doing. I wasn't eating fat. So I then Googled it, as one does, and found out about the keto diet. And then, of course, my daughter and I went raving into the keto diet, and that worked for a certain period of time. And then we began to feel very lethargic and quite kind of depressed, and the weight started to come back on again. And I thought, oh, isn't this just typical? You start on one thing, and then it works for so long, and then you have to do something else. And so I eventually kind of went through many, many things over a period of 15 years until I found something that actually worked. And now, at 57, I have still the same figure I had when I was 16, a 22-inch waist. I'm as fit as a fiddle. And in my 20s and 30s, I certainly couldn't have said that, because I just felt ill most of the time. I always had terrible trouble with heartburn and indigestion constantly, and it was a real bugbear in my life. And I did what everybody else does: took antacids, and I took the stuff that protects your stomach lining, and that then eventually led to me piling on the weight, and eventually led to me having heart problems as well, which I had to address, because literally I had a heart attack, and it was really, really frightening. And we don't have to get to that stage, but then what happens? We go on to heart medication. Why can't we treat things before they happen? So as soon as we start to get gut dysfunction, which is when we start to get the heartburn and the reflux and everything else, and these cause such significant problems, which can be just sorted out at the point of origin. It doesn't have to get worse, and then one thing leads to another before you know it. I mean, it's like most Americans are, at the age of 50, are on about 10 meds a day. Well, that's because they don't address the root cause of the problem. I mean, women have so many issues with hormone problems and everything else, and I've literally had no trouble with menopause or anything like that, and I should have had, because I had premenstrual syndrome, and I had so many hormone problems when I was younger. I had to come off the pill eventually, because it just made me so ill. Well, it made me ill mainly because it made me gain weight, and that made me so depressed. And it's just a vicious circle. Then you get stressed, then your gut doesn't work, then your digestion doesn't work, then you put more weight on. I mean, it's just a vicious circle. It doesn't have to be like that. And we see all these men walking around with stomachs out here, and we think it's normal. It's not normal. I can show you some extremely easy ways of sorting it out, and quite quickly. So what I want you to do is pop some comments below of the problems that you have in health-wise, and then I can, instead of giving you what I think you need, I can actually give you what you need to address the symptoms and the problems you're experiencing. And not just that, but the way that you've approached it, what hasn't worked, so I can tell you exactly what will work, because we're all different. Everybody is an individual, and we all need to tweak it slightly so that we can get the most out of it for ourselves as individuals. I can do that. And yet I've seen all these videos where people said, yeah, I've spent thousands of pounds getting, to where I am. And yeah, I have as well. But we've gone past that now in the world. We've gone past the stage when we're just going to help the people who can afford it. I'm here to help everybody. And I don't care what other people think about that, or whether they say, oh, altruism will get you nowhere. Well, altruism actually, in my life, has got me to an amazing point. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But all I want to do now is to address your issues and problems. So let's get started with that. So put the problems you're having down in the comments below, and let's get going with this. Your life is about to change, and with it, everything will change. The way you view yourself, the way you view the world, and the way you interact in it. Be prepared to be astonished. Thank you. See you soon.